Hey guys, Greg here from Body Embrace. Today I want to talk about something that we all need to do in order to see a result of some kind, regardless of what your goals are. And that thing is making a sacrifice. We all need to make a sacrifice. That sacrifice can come in many different forms. I would say the three main sacrifices we tend to make would be one, which is time. That's a big sacrifice. We need to make time to exercise or time to prepare our foods or whatever it might be. The other one is to sacrifice the foods that we love. We might have to cut out socializing or the takeouts or whatever it might be that we need to sacrifice in the food department. And then you've got financial sacrifice. So sometimes we have to pay for services to help us get to where we want to go. And most of the time, it's all three. Sometimes we have to make all three of those sacrifices. So to make my point more clear, I want to present an analogy to you. I want you to picture your dream car. This is mine. Now I'm here to tell you that you can afford this car, but you would need to make sacrifices in order to afford it. So the more expensive the car, the more sacrifices that you're gonna need to make. Now those sacrifices are obviously gonna be financial when it comes to your car. So you would have to sell your house. You would have to live in the car essentially, so that becomes your home. You would maybe have to sell your kids, which might not be such a bad idea. But essentially you're having to make the financial sacrifices in order to afford that car, and you could. You know, your house is $500,000. That car that you pictured is probably $200,000. So you can afford it. It just means that you don't have a home. But if you wanted it that badly, you would live in the car, eat in the car, do everything that you could do to afford that car. So now I want you to picture your dream body. This is mine. Actually, sorry, that's the wrong picture. This is mine. So just like the car guys, I'm here to tell you that you can afford this dream body. But remember, just like the car, you have to make sacrifices in order to afford it. So the more expensive that body, the more sacrifices you're gonna have to make. So I could afford that body that I put up before. I would just need to make the sacrifices. But personally, I know that I'm not willing to make those sacrifices necessary to look like that. You know, I'm not prepared to dedicate my life, which you would have to do to create that body. I'm also not prepared to take the steroids that you would need to take to look like that either, not taking anything away from that body, but certain sacrifices would need to be made that I'm not prepared to make, and I know that, and that's fine. So my point is, keep it real, guys. Keep your expectations real. Don't expect things to happen magically, because they won't. You have to put the work in. You have to make sacrifices necessary to achieve what you ultimately want to achieve. And if it's a really big, amazing goal, then you're gonna have to make some really big, amazing sacrifices to get there. So don't expect to lose a kilo a week for 6 months straight if you're eating pretty clean for Monday through to Thursday, and then come Friday through to Sunday on the weekends, you're blowing out and socializing and drinking and eating food that you haven't prepared. It's not fair to put that expectation upon yourself. So be real with what you expect. Don't expect to lose a kilo a week if you're not in the kitchen on Sunday night preparing your meals for the next week. Don't expect to lose a kilo a week if you're only exercising twice a week and on occasions missing those sessions. There's no right or wrong here, guys. Just don't expect to get a result if you're not prepared to put the work in and make the sacrifices necessary to get there. No one's here to tell you that you must achieve this or you must achieve that. It's completely personal. It's completely up to you, but just be realistic with those expectations. Personally, I'm very happy rolling around in my Hyundai i30. I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm balanced, and the sacrifices that I need to make to own this car, I can afford. So in summary, guys, whatever body you choose to own, whatever body you want, just make sure you are willing to make the sacrifices necessary to afford it. So if you're happy with your Toyota Corolla, that is perfectly fine. No one's here to tell you that it's not, but just don't expect it to turn into a Ferrari magically just because you want it to. You have to make sacrifice.